I'm going to talk to you about a fundamental truth, a basic to selling a property, and then I'm going to get into the latest home prices and insights for Peel and Durham for week ending February 15th, 2023. We see on the market, it's easy to see, some properties selling quickly, others hanging around, not being sold. And we can see why many times. So let me share with you a fundamental, a basic truth when it comes to selling a property. The minute you're on the market, you, as a seller, you're going to do one of two things. You're either going to push buyers to buy your neighbor's property, or your neighbor is going to push buyers to buy your property. One of those two things are going to happen. You're pushing buyers away, or you're attracting buyers. If you understand that and you go on a market with that attitude and that basic principle of either we're going to stand out with the competition and the competition is going to help us to sell our house, or we're going to help the competition sell their house. If you go on the market with that attitude, then before you're even on the market, all the planning, all the strategies should revolve around, obviously, we want to attract the buyers. We want to use the buyer's home to help us sell ours. Your pricing strategy, your marketing strategy, even how the home is negotiated should all have that thought in mind, that we're going to use the competition to help us sell ours. And this is why you can't look at a listing, if you're a listing agent, you can't look at a listing as a cookie cutter, this is what I do on every listing, because every listing has its own unique set of circumstances. How do we get this home to stand out? How should it be presented? How should it be marketed? Every home has its own unique set of circumstances. And if everybody looked at it that way, listing agents and sellers alike, and have that attitude, I think we'll see more home selling quicker, sooner. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description is a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way I'll know ahead of time and I'll make sure my schedule's organized so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. Let's get into the numbers. Here's a quick summary. Mississauga, Brampton here is in the middle, and Durham region. Average sold prices, this is for detached properties only, and 1 week to the next, all three areas, price went up. It went up the most week over week in the Durham region. Let's start with Mississauga. I'll say it again. This is for detached properties only, broken down by week for a whole year. 30 detached properties were sold for the week ending February 15th. 2 of those properties were at $2 million or more, and no properties sold under $1 million. Average sold price went up a little bit week over week. It's now sitting at $1,466,000. 1,466 is 20% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price is $1,363,000, which came down a little bit from the previous week, and that is 21% lower than the median price a year ago. So I have a green dotted line here. That basically splits last year versus this year. The other dotted lines going this way is the 4-week moving average. The 4-week moving average makes it easier to spot a trend, and it helps to eliminate the peaks and valleys. Last year, the last quarter leading up to the end of the year, average price was coming down and median price kind of flat. When we look at it this year, both average and median kind of seem like they're trending upwards. Not by much, but trending upwards a little bit. Looking at sales, well, the orange is this year's sales, the blue is last year's sales. Huge difference. Now remember, this time last year, we were breaking records like they were going out of style. So we're comparing to a time of year, a time of the market that was a little bit of la land when it comes to the kind of volumes and prices that we had. But nonetheless, when we look back, we're way under the pace of where we were last year at this time. 33%, a third of the 30. So 10 properties sold at list price or more this year. This time last year, 95%. So all of them basically, every property was selling at list price or more. Listings, 64 were listed, and months of inventory is sitting at 1.7. So for this year, almost on a weekly basis, months of inventory has been declining, meaning that the inventory at the pace that we're buying is actually shrinking, getting tighter and tighter, and that has an effect of prices, of pushing prices up. So months of inventory has been coming down, prices have been gradually creeping up. That's for Mississauga, for detached properties. Let's look at Brampton. 43 detached properties were sold for week ending February 15th. No properties sold at $2 million or more, and 15 of those 43 sold under $1 million. And that would be 35% of the properties. So more than a third of the properties sold $1 million or less. Average sold price went up a little bit from the previous week, sitting at $1,217,000. 1,217 is 25% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price of $1,215,000 is 22% lower than where the median price was a year ago. And again, we've got last year, this year. Last year, towards the end, actually, it looks like median and average price were going up in Brampton, and it's kind of continued that this year. Sales way off the pace where we were last year. This year though, 14% of the sales were at list price or more, so not many. This time last year, 94% were selling at list price or more. Listings, they've been pretty steady each week for the last 5-6 weeks or so. 80 to just under 90 new listings of detached properties every single week. Months of inventory has been coming down since the beginning of the year, now sitting at 1.6 months of inventory. As as months of inventory comes down, prices tend to go up, and that's what's happening here in Brampton right now. Here's Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby. That's what I'm using for my Durham sample. 37 detached properties were sold. No properties sold at $2 million or more, and 35% of those, so 13, sold under $1 million. Average sold price climbed up from the previous week. It's now sitting at $1,094,000. $1,094,000 is 33% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. Keep in mind, a year ago at this time was what we call the peak. We're always talking about the peak. Well, that was a year ago at this time. Median price is $1,076,000, and it's 29% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Now, Durham region, Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby, is not behaving the way the other regions are behaving. This year, average price and median price are coming down. Last year, leading to the end of the year, those prices were going up. We turned the year, and the prices are coming down. Of the 37 that sold, more than half, 51%, sold at list price or more. So it's hard to understand how more properties are selling list price or more, but average prices are coming down. Listings been pretty much the same over the last 3 weeks. We listed 54 detached properties. And I put a question mark here because not that the numbers are not accurate, but it's hard to make sense of it a little bit here. Average sold, months of inventory is coming way down. It's sitting at 0.9. extremely low. The previous week was 0.7. We had a 0.8. Very much a seller's market. When months of inventory is this low and declining, we would expect prices to be going up. But they're not in Durham region. Prices are coming down. What we're seeing is the more luxury type of properties, the more expensive type of properties in the Durham region, they've come off the market, and it's more of the lower price properties that are being the ones that are sold more often right now. And that even though the market is tighter and 51% selling at list price or more, it is the bottom, the entry-level type of detached properties that are being bought and sold more now than previous. Here's condos. Now this is for all of Peel region. 38 condos were sold. None of those were sold at $1 million or more. Average sold price, pretty much what it was last week. It's up by just $1,000 at $593,000 is the average price for a condo for last week for Peel region. $593,000 is 20% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price of $582,000 is 19% lower than where the median price was a year ago. And if we look at last year, the 4-week moving average, pretty flat, maybe even an argument that for average price it was coming down a bit. But this year, it's pretty clear that it's been creeping up. It's not going up aggressively, but over the last 4 or 5 weeks for this year, we could see average price and median price going a little bit higher each week. Sales, like the detached market, way off the pace from a year ago, but 24% of those 38 that did sell sold at list price or more. Listings, we listed 75. If we look at just the orange, pretty much the same since January 11th. Every week, not much change in the amount of new condos coming onto the market. And months of inventory has been coming down gradually. It's now sitting at 2 months of inventory. Months of inventory coming down, prices gradually going up. Here's a quick summary. It's pretty low, you know. There is competition out there. You're going to see it out there. Again, there's properties selling fast and quick and others just sitting there, and you got to wonder why. And for sure, strategy has a lot to do with it. Who you hire matters. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.